A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome. My name is Subuile, and this is May, and we're from Capital 360. Basically, what we do is we move, shift, and we innovate. Basically, we think local, however, we act global. And we're here to move the needle for famous brands, the next big thing. And the agenda this afternoon basically is the following. We have a problem statement, and we're going to describe the context to you, and also the market summary. We're going to tell you about the opportunities that we found, give you the business concept, a roadmap, challenges, and finally a conclusion of the whole matter. So the challenge that we're faced with is that we needed to identify an innovative new opportunity for revenue and profit growth for famous brands within South Africa or Africa as a whole, the new big idea, while staying aligned to the company's culture, values, and ideals. So the context and summary, market summary. Famous Brands has achieved consistent growth year on year. And the portfolio that we decided to choose as a company is Mug & Bean. And for the following reasons. It's recorded a 7% growth in customer counts as a group wide. There's also growing interest for the brand within Africa. The franchise network has increased by 12% in the financial year of 2015. And the industry trends indicate increased focus on convenience and value. The opportunities that we found are the following. Currently, there are no formal players in the mobile convenience food segment, and thus an opportunity to be the first to market. And there's also an opportunity to grow mid to higher tier markets in strategic locations and leisure events, and also to leverage off the existing brand equity of Mug & Bean, and also the famous brand's manufacturing, logistics, and marketing capabilities. Now, as mentioned before, consumer trends indicate growth in the convenience food sector, with 30% of consumers eating outside of their homes within South Africa. This creates an affordable franchise model and thus attracting new franchisees. And therefore, we're increasing our reach and also a share of throat. And finally, to introduce to you our big new venture for famous brands, Mug & Bean Pop-Up. So here I am, sitting in an office, out there in Midrand, and I have 100 Rand in my pocket. I want to buy food because I'm hungry. I walk outside and I realize there's no place to buy any food.
So this is why we will have the mobile format, providing convenience for our consumers. Mug & Bean Pop-Up will consistently offer the famous brand's trademark quality. We'll have a tailor-made menu to include lunchtime options and coffee, and this represents good value and quick service. We will have a smartphone app developed to allow franchisee and customer communication, including a GPS locator, online menus, and menu requests, and requests for trucks for events. So we intend to move the needle by piloting the Mug & Bean Pop-Up in strategic areas such as Waterfall Office Park in Midrand. And we will consolidate the findings from this pilot and improve our service offering. This is with the prospect of rolling out to Greater South Africa and targeted African countries, specifically Zambia, starting with the Rhodes Office Park in Lusaka, as this is the most requested place to do business in Zambia and occupies prime location. Based on this model, we will be able to break even in 6 months and become highly profitable within 2 years. For each truck per annum, our projected earnings potential would be 1.3 million Rand, and for a hub of 32, which includes 320 trucks, we have an estimated revenue of 2 billion Rand with 300 million Rand net profit per annum. However, we face challenges, and these include the security of vehicles with the accompanying high insurance costs. With the high crime rates in South Africa, this will be high. There's no food truck culture established in South Africa or Africa, and the proximity to other standalone mug and bean outlets and other food trucks could result in cannibalization. There's also the ever-rising fuel costs. In conclusion, due to the low barriers to entry, Mug and Bean Pop-Up has the potential to create a niche market, to generate additional revenue at lower costs by leveraging current capabilities and resources, can expand the Mug and Bean brand footprint in South Africa and the rest of Africa by bringing the Mug and Bean quality closer to consumers at great value. Thank you.
We'll take the questions at the end. Could you say your syndicate, your group number?
Syndicate 1.
Syndicate 1.
Okay, syndicate 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are the innovation generation. We are the information generation. We are I Generate Africa. We are the consultants that will spawn the next big venture into South Africa and up into Africa. The gap in the market. What is the gap in the market currently? There's no fine dining, organic sourced, sit-down restaurant. Current health food supplies are either over the counter or not purely organic. Think about it. This is different to existing franchise outlets. How will we, what will we use to fill this gap? Fine dining, premium, purely organic restaurants aimed at LSM 6 to 10, strategically positioned in areas that are attracted to this type of living, attract a profitable market. Where do we stand with this?
So market trends. Over the past 24 years, the organic food industry has increased by 3,400%. And in 2020, it's predicted to increase by a further 16%. That's something to think about. Now, a recent survey done by Nielsen in 2015 showed that about half the world's population wants to lose even more weight. Don't deny it, you guys are one of them. And that means, obviously, having more organic and healthy food. Plus, they also found out that younger people are more willing to pay for such healthy and organic food. But don't trust me. Let the statistics speak for themselves. If we look on this left-hand side chart on the red section, which represents the Middle East and Africa, it will show you that 35% of people want to eat less processed food, which is good. But what is even greater is that 57% of those people want to start eating healthier, more fresh, and more natural foods, hence the organic foods. Now you ask me, but is it sustainable? Good question, by the way. Sustainability. Sustainability. If we look at the organic food industry's sustainability and its growth, it is expected to be on a global average of 33%. And if you look at Africa, it is also 33%. This indicates that it is not only sustainable, but also profitable. So now the question that remains is, how can we capitalize on this trend?
And this is how we capitalize on it. The next big thing in the market and the next big franchise for famous brands is Organic Kitchen. Organic Kitchen is a franchise that will offer its clients organic food and premium dining. And as we may see, even the setup is a bit futuristic. Question is, how does this link to Famous Brands? Famous Brands has 10 strategic thrusts. We have identified 4 because of time constraints. First one being diversity. Famous Brands intends to diversify their portfolio. As it is, they are partly in the dining retail, however, they are not in the organic space. And as the numbers have shown, we do not have much players in that space, even though there is a chance to be sustainable. Famous Brands also intends to grow. And how do we propose this? We have looked at our market, and as Dirk, my colleague, has identified, this is your LSM in between 6 to 10, which also means they are more aware of what they're eating. Therefore, there is already a place for them. That is currently your shopping malls. However, we identified alternative places. That is places like Maboneng in Johannesburg, places like Woodstock in Cape Town, and the like. Not only that, you would like to expand your presence, and Famous Brand is actually famous for capitalizing on strategic partners. And hence we propose that you collaborate with similar partners in South Africa. That is your Vitality and your Discovery Health. And also in Africa, in order to minimize your risk and penetrate the market, we propose that Famous Brand partners with 4-star hotels. Also, again, emphasizing on the market that we are looking at. Last but not least, as much as we care about our clients and about our people, we also care about money. Therefore, we are saying that in order to move the needle, Famous Brand has already undertaken a similar study in the market that we have identified, and it has shown that the people are willing to spend the money and they are recession-proof. Therefore, they have the disposable income. Not only that, however, for a business, it is actually highly profitable.
The world is indicating healthy living as a fashion statement. They're indicating it as a trend, the new way of life, and most importantly, a necessity. This is ultimately an untapped market. It lacks consistent performers in this field. It supports local growth and farming. Organic kitchen supports the new ideal of environmental and healthy living and awareness. Let's tap into this market. Let's win the race to the front. Let's push this needle. Thank you.
Just take a few minutes for the dragons to write notes and chants and
I'm back from conquering our mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa. And we are here to unlock your potential and help you to conquer your mountain. So you might ask, what is Famous Brands' mountain? 500,000 people visited Durban's beaches over the festive season. Was Famous Brands there? South Africa has 70 stadiums with a capacity of 1.7 million. So every week a game is being watched somewhere in this country. Is Famous Brands watching this game? There is an abundance of arts, music and cultural festivals, with Opikopi attracting 15,000 people. Is Famous Brands rocking with South Africa? And then there are over 14.5 million households in the country. Is Famous Brands in your neighborhood? I'll leave you with the question. Where was Famous Brands in 2015?
Now, we had a little bit of a dilemma. We had to come up with a way of making fast food faster. We had to make it more convenient for our customer. How did we do this? We said, well, let's put famous brands on wheels. Now we're going to do this, but is this really the next best thing? Let's analyze it. We've put it on wheels. What have we done? We've brought it closer to the customers. And by doing so, we've opened up opportunities for growth for Famous Brands, which will strengthen the guerrilla brands and also reinvigorate the core. Reinvigorating the core. Maybe you're not yet convinced. Let me introduce you to Tepo. Tepo is our hungry customer. Right? What have we done for Tepo? Well, for Tepo, we've increased speed and convenience. What have we done for Joe, our truck driver? For Joe, we've increased mobility and agility. In what sense? Well, now Joe can follow his customer base. In other words, if Joe's customer base is safely marching or peacefully marching to the union buildings, Joe will be there. If his customer base is celebrating somewhere in the middle of nowhere, such as Opikopi, Joe will be there. And what have we done for famous brands? Well, for famous brands, we've opened up the possibility for growth. So let's go back to Tepo. Tepo is hungry. He's in his office, he looks outside, he sees Joe standing from his truck. By the time Tepo gets to the lobby, Joe is gone. But who is Joe?
So let's talk about Joe. Joe is the first famous brand's mobile franchisee. He comes from a previously disadvantaged community, and he does not have enough capital to invest in a traditional business. But he has bought into the famous brand's vision of mobile franchising, and together with the company is now the proud owner of the first Steers on Wheels. He operates in his community, thus bringing famous brands closer to consumers. He goes to stadiums and events, and he thus creates new routes to market. He also has just employed 2 matriculants to work in his food truck, preparing his custom menu. Joe is very excited. He is going to launch his food truck at the FNB Stadium this weekend, where 90,000 people will be watching Pirates versus Chiefs. At the other end of town, Peter, Joe's friend, has also bought into the vision of mobile franchising, but he is servicing the business and student community of Parktown.
All right, so now let's go back to Tepo. Tepo is still stuck in the lobby. He's frustrated. Where is Joe? And he looks at us and he asks us, where's my food? Now, how do we answer this for Tepo? We came up with a food app and we named it, Where's My Food? Now, Tepo is sitting in his office again, looks outside, he doesn't see Joe. What does he do? He pulls out his phone, goes on his app, and his app will show him the route that Joe is taking. In other words, Tepo can now be told at what time Joe will be in his area. He'll also be able to order food and pay for it on his app. So by the time Joe arrives, all that Tepo has to do is pick up his meal. Now to conclude, is the needle really moving? Well, yes. Let's think about what we've actually done. We've put famous brands on wheels and we've taken it to our customers. So we took the brand to the customers and we put it in their hands. And while we did that, we've opened up opportunities for famous brands to grow. And we did this by addressing the key strategic thrusts, the macro brand marketing strategies, and also the guiding principles such as innovation and agility. But that's not all. We've also addressed or opened up a whole set of new opportunities for famous brands. The one that I can point out there is we've opened up opportunities for African expansion in countries where we don't have to wait for shopping malls and shopping centers to sprout up before we go in there. Now, when we're there, or while we're there, why should we stop there? Let's put solar panels on our trucks. But I don't know. That's a story for another day because Joe is here with my meal.
Black middle class is one of the largest markets in Africa, and that it's grown substantially in the last 10 years. Did you know that it has almost 400 million rand in spending power? Its economic participation has also increased, and they're adopting a lot of Western trends, but ideally at the end of the day, they want to be acknowledging their African roots. And this leaves a fantastic opportunity for famous brands to come in with their large and diverse repertoire and help tap this market. Cord Consulting can help you acknowledge this market. Good day. My name is Liz, and this is my colleague Mark, and we are here to represent Accord Consulting. Now you may ask, how can we help famous brands tap into this market? Well, the very simple answer is, let's purchase Chesanyama. By bringing this brand into the famous brands fold, this is the perfect opportunity for famous brands to dominate and monopolize the bride meat segment. As a part of the strategy that we have a two-pronged approach. We have the Chesanyama Express and the Chesanyama Exclusive. The Chesanyama Express would be a fast food outlet, which would be quick, convenient, give you quality food and value for money. We also believe that this is the ideal model to take into Africa. But wait, we have another model, the Chesanyama Exclusive model. And this is more of a sit-down restaurant, which provides the traditional African lifestyle experience for the black middle class. This experience can provide entertainment, good food, and an opportunity to socialize in a luxurious setting. Now, we are aware that famous brands have burnt their fingers once before with black steer, and we would just like to assure you that our Chesanyama model would not be the same. First of all, Chesanyama dominates this particular segment at the moment, so really you'd be number one in the market. Secondly, our two different offerings offer two very different experiences for two very different target markets. But lastly, how does this fit into the famous brand strategy? Well, the Chesanyama Express would we would propose that you would purchase this brand, this network, and you could capitalize off its infrastructure, its brand equity, and it's already dominating this particular segment in LSM 3 to 6. Okay, and by doing that, you can take this brand into Africa, and you can take this equity into Africa. It already has a lot of it. Secondly, with the Chesanyama Exclusive, we have this moving. We would see famous brands moving into the casual sit-down dining experience, which I know you guys are interested in, and we'll also be tapping the black middle class. Lastly, because we are moving up, because you guys are interested in Africa, we can take this express model into Africa, and we can do it by utilizing your networks, which you already have there on the ground.
So you may ask, how are we going to do this? How is famous brands going to get into Africa and launch these two different concepts? Well, first, it's a three-phase approach. The first phase would be the express model. Currently, the express model is lacking a bit of consumer confidence. We promote that. We rejuvenate this brand similar to what famous brands did with Wimpy. We improve the quality by bringing into the famous brands processes and supply chain. We further want to expand this in Africa, especially Southern Africa, the express model. This is where we'll target strip malls, metro service stations, and all transport hubs where people populate. Second phase will be the exclusive model. This is something we really want to get off the ground. So the pilot will be based here in Midrand, or Woodmead, whereby we believe there's a massive uptake in terms of the demand for this model. From success, which we know it will be, we'll develop into other three metros in Gauteng, and then develop it further in Southern Africa. Lastly is the express model, which we think is a perfect model to take into Africa. But doing business in Africa is difficult, so we need partners. Famous brands has been burnt before. What we target is the initial market of Kenya, Nigeria, and Tanzania. Famous brands currently has a good supply chain in all those three countries. The East African countries of Kenya and Tanzania, they currently do Nyama Choma, which is a very similar concept to Chesanyama, but that's more on an informal side. There's no formal franchise of it. In Nigeria, we believe that this is a massive market. They have a massive market with a propensity to spend for this exact value for money business model. So does this make financial sense? Based on the current Chesanyama revenue streams, and based on the famous brands bringing into their house on 59% operating margin, we're looking at about 7 million, just over. But that's just the starting point. Obviously, the additional revenues you can get from supply service, your manufacturing services, and your logistics. And then, lastly, the new franchise fees, which you'll gain. We believe this model is a great business model and will definitely break even with under 6 months and be highly profitable by 18 months. Lastly, doing business in Africa is highly risky, so we had to take a look at this. The major risks which we identified, first of all, for the Chesanyama brand right here before we start, is will global gold brands want to sell to famous brands? And that's a good question. And if they don't, the mitigating factor which we thought was doing the same model as Tasha's, whereby the gold brands, they take 49%, famous brands takes 51%. Gold brands already in the market had a propensity to, they want to develop those 500 stores in Africa. And we believe famous brands can do it, and it's a win-win if he doesn't want to sell. Lastly, new competitors. I think Chesanyama, they dominate the market. They've got 251 stores in Southern Africa. The closest rival is 12 stores. So we don't think that's actually a real concern, especially if famous brands takes it on with their supply chain power. They can steamroll any new competition. So in summary, we believe this is the next big thing for famous brands. It provides a perfect vehicle to dominate this underdeveloped African market.
So it's great to see how aligned you were in terms of the conversations that we were having. So well done once again. Just in terms of group number 2, which was group syndicate 3, if just want to ask a couple of questions. Was that the organic one? Sorry, I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row. Where's the group?
There you
Oh, there you are. So sorry. So I just from a clarity perspective, you spoke about LSM 6 to 9, and 6 to 10. Sorry, 6 to 10. Apologies, my mistake. Do you believe that the organic has the opportunity to grow within an LSM 6 and 7 market, where your average income is around about 6,500 rand, between 6,500 and 10,000 rand a month?
If I were to answer it off the bat, I'd say maybe it might be pushing it a bit, but it's definitely, if you're looking at the trends into what people want, maybe in that hierarchy of what's important for them in 6 and 7, it might not be viable, but it is, in terms of the trend, I think people are wanting to live healthier, whether they can afford it or not, and maybe another topic.
So I'd also like to add on to that. Like I said, in the research that we did as a group, we found that younger people, be it because of commercials or because of movies or the general society trend, they are more willing now to contribute towards all health products. Now, they probably won't be able to do it on a daily basis. Perhaps it'll be more scarce, but I think they are willing to chuck out some more money, particularly. And this I'm talking about, obviously, young people who haven't, like you mentioned, with not a high amount of income, but obviously the ones in their middle age, so 35 to 45, obviously will be able to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Got any other questions?
Just on the group, the Mug and Bean Meals on Wheels, is that also same like the other one where you preparing the meals in store, or are you getting the meals from the actual store and delivering?
So the Mug and Bean pop-up.
Yeah.
So we want to streamline the menu. Well, some of the things we were thinking about are pre-packed sandwiches, so the night before, a limited number, so that it's all, because otherwise it's not practical. And the entire menu should be available on the app so that people know in advance, and you coming there expecting what is available. And in the morning you can come grab your coffee on your way to the office. For lunchtime you can go grab a meal if it's outside your office park. It came up because we were talking about how in the Waterfall Office Park there are no restaurants, there's no food places, but there's so many people in that office park, and there's a clear opportunity for them to come in. And so to answer your question more specifically, there would be pre-packed meals, and there are some things that need to be made fresh, or if you want to add a salad in there, or things that can be done. Yeah, so you have your bagel and you can ask for it to be toasted, or your sandwich to be toasted, and that doesn't take a lot of time.
So if you look, so if you look currently, they've got out of the 250, 156 of those outlets are in Gauteng, and in other provinces, the rest, the balance is in other provinces. So we were looking at looking at those provinces first, growing our brand in those provinces. There's growth opportunities in townships where there are malls, where there's strip malls, and there's opportunities in your metro rail station where we can position that product, the Chesanyama outlet there. So basically we're saying, let's position our express model first in other provinces rather than Gauteng, and Gauteng we focus the exclusive model in.
Do you see the more exclusive model having a different brand name, or do you still think it carries Chesanyama as it stands?
Yeah, my feeling would be that obviously Chesanyama has an association with it already, being a lower LSM. So my feeling was that you just leverage off the infrastructure and your supply chain, etc. But you just make it a different brand name with a different association, because obviously you also run the risk of, if you could actually change the association of Chesanyama to be an upper LSM, which you wouldn't want to do, because then you alienate that market. So yeah, that would be my feeling.
So the Chesanyama business, I'm from the supply chain division, so manufacturing and logistics. So, I mean, 251 stores would not just only bring income for the front end of the business, which is the franchise. We've just acquired another business called Cater Chain, where we've plugged in our pork basket in there. So, I mean, 251 stores with the amount of beef that you would have required would have been, it's quite, so I would like to see some correlation being done from the manufacturing on the numbers, because that would have been quite a big one.
Just see if there's any. Yeah, I think from a mobile truck, I think it's just from both Syndicate 2 and Syndicate 1. Who was it? 3, sorry. 1 and 2. Sorry, we are not in sequence. So I think, yeah, I think just to give you guys some really positive feedback, I mean, taking the brand to the consumer is really critical, especially in your mass markets. And it is something we haven't done an exceptionally good job at. And it is something that we need to get better at. And to the Mugg & Bean guys, with competitors coming in, we definitely need to start focusing on that brand a lot more in terms of getting the footprint out there. So the thinking was very sound around that side on both of the mobile concepts. So thinking was exceptionally sound. It's also just, it's a challenge when you're trying to deal with, just some feedback, challenge when you're trying to deal with council and getting rights and all of that. So you just got to think about that as one of your mitigating factors. In terms of being able to just put these pop-up restaurants wherever you want to go. You've obviously got some constraints within councils and where you can and can't do, and if they've already given rights to other people to trade in that area. So it sometimes sounds easier than what it is, but it's the negotiations and the association with certain groups. And for example, because some competitors align with schools and they're into all the school events, so you really got to get that alignment right in order to be able to leverage that opportunity really well. But it is a fantastic opportunity and a low-cost opportunity, and I like the thinking around giving the kind of enterprise development and the youth development coming out of the group. So well done.